Good morning. It is Thursday, April 23rd, and we are continuing Hogwarts week, or Harry Potter week here, Creative Quarantine at Russell Loves Art. And today we are going to be we're going to be painting a scene from Harry Potter. We're actually going to be painting Hogwarts, the school, today from a distance using coffee. So today we have some black coffee, and what I did especially for this project is I cooked it down on the stovetop. So this is actually really high concentrated dark black coffee. I also included some tea. This is English breakfast. As you can see, it's a loose leaf tea. It's been steeping overnight. I have some Sutton's London. This is, I guess, another type of English breakfast, but it's actually a tea bag versus loose leaf. We have some Paul Newman's. I can't remember what this is. I think it's another dark tea. And then I mixed up some turmeric today. So this is actually turmeric, and this is like the bane of my countertops existence. It stains our countertops a lot when we use it, so I try to be very prodigious and also really smart about use of it, so I don't stain anything. So what we're gonna do is, what I did initially is I did a light sketch of Hogwarts before I started applying the paint, because it is kind of a complex painting. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be using a combination of different brushes here. Most of these are Simply Simmons, Brent Simmons brushes. These are really cheap. You can buy them pretty much anywhere. They sell them at Beverly's, they sell them at Michael's. They're inexpensive, fun synthetic brushes that you can pick up for pennies on the dollar. This is actually from a gift I got from a student. This is it's one of those like chalk, wet chalk painting brushes, which I just brought. This is actually a paintbrush. This is actually a Simply Simmons tip, but the brush handle broke, and a student of mine fixed it for me last year. Thank you, Izzy. So we're going to be using a combination of 1 through 6 size brushes. This is actually a number 2 Dynasty. This is a kind of a student level brush made in Thailand. You can pick from Dick Blick. Again, these are Simply Simmons. You can pick them up anywhere, really, and they're kind of my go-to brushes. This is actually it's not a 1, it's a 0. So to start off with, I'm going to just sketch out first using the coffee today, and we're going to be using a bunch of different things today as we go through. But right now, I'm initially going to just start painting within my outline of my Hogwarts here that I got. I'm going to be moving quickly through this and kind of playing around with it. I'm going to be, initially just putting down the first layer of tone with the coffee, and not necessarily worrying about making it perfect. I want to emphasize that this is just a fun thing to do, and I want to make these projects kind of accessible for people, working at home, so you're not necessarily having to have, really expensive materials on hand to participate in painting projects. So I'm just going to preserve some white areas here that are going to be the windows. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I'm enjoying this beautiful weather that we're having right now. It's quite beautiful right now. Birds are out. Springtime is here. The swallows have returned. So all I'm doing now is just kind of going through and painting around some areas that I'm going to preserve for white space. Represent doors and windows. All right. So Hogwarts, like a lot of castles in Europe, a lot of high spires, towers. And the reason I'm using such a sharp brush is that we have all these really sharp towers that we need to capture here. And all these complex nooks and crannies, as you can probably guess. It is a school, but it's modeled after a lot of European castles from the medieval all the way up to the Baroque and Rococo eras. I used to live in Germany, and they had quite a plethora of beautiful castles there. And I lived in a city called Stuttgart, and they had two different castles down in the downtown area. One was called the Altes Schloss, which means literally old castle, and then something called the New Schloss, which means new castle. And the old castle was primarily a medieval garrison. It had like these beautiful beautiful steps that were designed for horses to be able to gallop up, and it had turrets, and it was really robust, thick walls, And then you had the New Schloss, which was right across the way from it, and it was more of a palace versus a castle. Very boring to me, if I'm going to be totally honest. As a kid, you're all about you imagine yourself as Robin Hood and, fighting the Sheriff of Nottingham, and that doesn't really happen in a dainty palace. So right now what I'm doing is I am just painting the turrets and adding the details that make this castle kind of stand out in our imaginations. And using, of all things, coffee. I had to kind of go small because, well, let's just be real. I can't fit a whole castle on this whole page. And I want to actually do a bunch of embellishments and kind of cool things going on through here, using different painting mediums that we've mixed up overnight, that I've let steep. Okay. And I'm going to be preserving some white areas. That's white of the page. Boom, boom, boom. And if you joined me from the very beginning of when I started doing these, you know that I did a painting using coffee before of a sea turtle. Kind of doing the same thing here. I'll be building up values as we go along. This isn't going to be the perfect copy of Hogwarts, but just a simple interpretation. And, when I first heard about Harry Potter, we were living in... Where were we living? My wife and I were living in Italy. We had no idea what was going on. And we kept seeing in the Italian bookstores this story about a kid named Harry Potter. Like, who the heck is this? the Italian bookstores had different cover design than the American counterparts, so we didn't really know what the heck was going on, even when we got stateside, because the covers were entirely different. So we were learning as we were going when we came back. It was very interesting to see the phenomenon that was Harry Potter at the time. Most of the kids that I teach now, it's like, they didn't grow up with it, they don't know about it. Some kids do, but, it was of a generation further along, I think, a little bit older, longer in the tooth, per se, than the one that we have currently, or that I'm currently teaching. Hi guys. I hope you guys are all enjoying this shelter in place. I know I am. It's not ideal. No, not by any means. But it's not terrible either, I don't think. So we're making the cliffside entrance. And the docks down below. All right. So I'm going to spend some time darkening this area in here. I want this area to be pretty dark. That's where I'm going to want a lot of shadow. Same thing on this side. Yeah. Ah. Lots of shadow. I gotta be careful here. Kind of have this song playing on in my head as I'm doing this painting. And let's play around with some other colors, yeah? Okay. Let's grab some turmeric here. Let's see what this does. Oh, wow. Grainy. Once this dries, those grains, once those, they'll go away. Really bright. Don't know if I'm going to keep that yet. Maybe I'll use it for our water here. Again, these are all just household items I've pulled up. Let's grab some tea. Push it in there too. Keeping it loose and fun. Now I'm doing kind of, I know I'm using like vertical brush strokes. That's okay though. And there's my dog. Again, if you've been watching these videos with me, you know that my dog hates deliverymen. And during this shelter in place, we have had an overabundance of mailmen and UPS drivers and FedEx drivers, DHL. They just got to do their jobs just like everybody else. Oh, by the way, we are using Canson's 140-pound weight cold press watercolor paper. Really good stuff. It's amazing stuff, by the way. And this is, I believe this Nespresso it's called Noir Black, so it's kind of appropriate. Hey, Salvador. Sorry, guys, if it's hard to do both. Interact, say hello, and then also paint. It's tough. Hey, Maddie. Itzel, I don't know if you're still there, but hello. Hope you're doing well. I've been watching your posts. Some of my seniors, you probably have noticed, I've been following you back because, well, technically the school year is over, and I know I don't usually follow you until you are officially graduated, but at this point, man, it's looking like it. So I'm going back in here with where the turmeric was and just kind of making the land here. Hello, Ruby. Putting in the lines for the water in the lake. As I get closer to my point of view, the bigger the lines are going to be. So right now we've used 2 different types of tea, coffee, turmeric mixed with water. Not bad. Again, all stuff that you can find in your kitchen. So I'm gonna go through and kind of clean some stuff up, darken some lines. It's tough though. Can only do so much. It runs, gets away from you. Can. Again, this is Canson's 140-pound weight watercolor paper. Stuff is amazing. Build a value. Can be hard. I gotta do multiple passes. And now I'm using the funny little bamboo brush. Kind of feather and fade in some stuff. Alright. Using a dry brush. Pick up some extra layering. I gotta tell you, this painting smells really good though. Now going through with some smaller detail lines of ripples in the water. To be very dark. There we go. All right. So tomorrow's tomorrow's drawing is going to be a people's choice. So if you have some suggestions as to what I should paint, draw, please DM me. Yes, it is Hogwarts. It's a coffee painting of Hogwarts. And it smells really good. Makes me want to have some more coffee. So all I'm doing now, folks, is just darkening values, pulling those values down. Cleaning up lines. Started watching a show today on Amazon called Carnival Row. I don't know if I like it yet. It's not bad. It's not great, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna continue watching it. Watch the first episode. Not bad. It's got Orlando Bloom. Not really an all-star cast, but a good cast. It's got the guy who played Moriarty on the Sherlock series that Robert Downey Jr. did with Guy Ritchie. He's a decent actor. So I'm enjoying it. Oh, thanks. It's very nice, Alan. First time I've ever painted Hogwarts. And the first time I've ever painted something like this with coffee. Kind of intimidating. Yeah, that's when you paint or draw something that people have a lot of attachment to, or there's an emotional investment with it. You gotta do it right. I hope I'm doing it right. I don't know. It's kind of controlling me right now, and that's okay. I hope so too. We'll see if they are able to have it this year. I don't know. Oban? I don't know. Be nice, wouldn't it? We will see. Let's just pray we can get through this together, you know? It's not been easy. Not been that hard, though. I don't know. You see all these kind of emotional things going on in this country in regards to this, stay-at-home order. And we're just trying to do our part. I think we just need to support those individuals who are essential and put themselves out there. And how do we do our part? We do our part by staying home and listening to the leaders who we have elected to make sure that we get through this. And I'm frustrated just like everybody else about not being able to do the things that I want to do, but these are the things that we've kind of chosen for ourselves, to be led by science and people who are much smarter than we are, At least I hope so. So that's why, this is, part of this doing the live stream is kind of like my part. It's a very small part, but if it brings somebody enjoyment and a distraction from the worries they're dealing with right now, then I'm doing my part. Much love to, the students that I've taught who are out there on the front lines, as first responders, as people part of the medical community. Thank you for everything you do. So we're close to being done. I'm just going to put on some final touches here, and then we'll be able to move on with our day. Okay. All right, folks. That's it for me on this end. Join me tomorrow at 12 o'clock for another Creative Quarantine. 12 o'clock at Russell Loves Art. Please be safe, stay home, and have a blessed rest of your day. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.